I want to thank everybody for coming to episode 2 of the Die, Laugh, Love podcast. This is the second episode. I aim to have this be about an hour, maybe a little bit longer than that. But as we dive into this, I'm going to ask everybody to do 2 things for me before we jump in and get into the thick of things. The first thing that I need everybody to do here, and I ask this of my group sessions as well as anybody that I see individually, I'm going to ask everybody to keep their expectations low. Okay, people hear the words psychic, they hear the words medium, they bring a whole lot of baggage to those words, and I'm going to ask everybody to keep their expectations low. If you've ever seen a psychic or a medium before, in person or in a group, I'm going to ask you to forget that experience, and God forbid, if you've ever seen them on TV, please forget everything that you've ever seen on TV when it comes to this stuff. I don't need to be the guy to tell you that perhaps the stuff that you see on TV is not necessarily real or factual. The other thing that I want to ask you to do, please, is to bring a sense of humor to our time together. And I think those 2 principles together really help us get through life. Low expectations of ourselves and of others, and a sense of humor as we get through this world. That's a really important thing, at least for me, asking everybody here to do the same. So low expectations and a sense of humor. Now, this is the Die, Laugh, Love podcast. We, and not to be a Debbie Downer, are all going to die. Our life is short. It is a limited amount of time here on the beautiful planet Earth. And while we are alive, we should do our best to laugh and to love. And we get as much of that in as we can while we're here. I do want to encourage everybody to take a look at my website, joshsimonds.com. I have a video on there about my story. I don't want to take up time here to talk about how I get to this. That's all online. That is everything in written word and in video form that you can go take a look at. My goal here tonight is to show people how our spirits, our loved ones, our ancestors, and our beloved dead are with us all the time, that the afterlife does exist. And in the same way that our physical and spiritual selves are married, so isn't the physical and spiritual world married. The analogy that I always use is the relationship that we have with our beloved dead, our dearly departed, is like a one-way mirror that we would see in a cop show. I always go back to that. We are, generally speaking, on the side of the suspects, pretty oblivious to what's going on the other side of the mirror. Our loved ones in spirit, they are on the side of the cops, where they see us, they feel us, they know us. I'm just a person that's figured out how to pull messages from one side of the mirror to the other, and the reason that I continue to do so is because all of the messages that I receive have always been in the best interest of the people that I've sat with. They've all been love-based, health-based, well-being-based, and that's what I want to share with everybody here today. Now, I do want to say that the nature of these group readings, well, I'm not going to be able to read everybody, but I do hope, and it is my intention, that when I do this, the people that do come through to me, and I don't have control over that, but the people that do come through to me are bringing messages that everybody can relate to. So perhaps you won't get a reading, but I want you to hang out here because the information and the wisdom that Spirit shares with us, I am sure that most everybody can benefit from. So thank you for being here. And the way this is going to work is I am going to begin by channeling spirits. Everybody here is on mute. And this is an interactive podcast. So what that means is that I am going to mess around with the Zoom here. I'm going to bring the person that's on here with me up into a spotlight on Zoom so everybody can see both me and that person. And we're going to have a brief conversation around the messages that Spirit wants to bring to you as well as to everybody here. So with that being said, let us walk through this process with love, low expectations, and a sense of humor. Now, this experience of mine as a professional medium is interesting. It's always developing, and I'm always growing and changing. The more you do something, the better you get at it, and I believe that. When it comes to that, I want to tell you about the spirits that have been with me leading up to this. This is a pretty cool thing that has happened to me. I have had spirits with me telling me that they're with me, and we're leading right up to this. Now, that's a fascinating process because I have no idea who's going to go up to this. This is completely open and free to everybody. So I don't know who these spirits belong to. With that being said, I'm going to start to channel this spirit, this person. And what I'm going to ask anybody here who feels like this is their person to do, I'm going to ask you to take yourself off mute so that you can have a conversation with me and everybody here. So remember, this is interactive, and I'm going to be asking you to speak up. For a fellow in my position here doing this, what I'm about to do, the worst thing that you could do for me is not speak up. I've channeled somebody before, and a person on a gallery reading go, I'm really sure that was my dad, but I didn't want to speak up because I didn't want to take it away from somebody else. So even if you think that this might be yours, I want you to take yourself off mute. We might have figured it out amongst us between one or two people, but the information that I'm about to provide is pretty specific. Okay. Let's take a sip here of my electrolytes. Going. Okay. Pretty sure that I've got a dad here looking for a daughter. Daddy's girl. I'm looking for a daddy's girl. um, like she might have been a girl, daddy's girl. So I'm going to show you the images that he's showing me. I share with you the images that he's showing me. I see fuzzy dice hanging off like a rear view. So a pair of fuzzy dice hanging off a rear view. And like an old truck. I had an uncle at one point in time who had this really old shed, I think it was, a blue kind of boxy truck, but it was an older truck. It was a blue, dark blue one. And I'm seeing now the way that my mediumship works is that spirit, when it moves through my mind, it's going to pick up what I call my symbol library, and it's going to show me the things that it wants me to say, hey, this is who I am. This is interesting. His father, I think, would have helped the daughter or daughters work with their hands, like kind of showed the daughters things, perhaps. Fuzzy Dice, old truck, and he's singing, giving me the song, The Gambler by Kenny Rogers, which means he either liked that song or he was a gambler, like he was somebody who gambled. So I want to talk to anybody here who would consider themselves a daddy's girl, who would have had an older truck. I'm pretty sure it's fuzzy dice hanging from the rear view, or the dice is like the gambling thing with the Kenny Rogers. Anybody here have a dad, old truck, fuzzy dice, gamblers, might have played cards, listen to Kenny Rogers, looking for a daughter?
Hi, Josh. I unmuted
Hi,
myself.
Stephanie.
Hi. I mean,
Yep.
the old truck I'm not getting, but my dad loved craps. He has two daughters. I'm daddy's girl. He liked to sing. I don't know if he, so I don't know if that, but he was definitely loved craps and the dice.
Hold on one second for me, Stephanie, because I'm not sure this is you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for speaking up. Thank you for
Yep.
taking up that silence for me. I appreciate that. This is somebody who's kind of country-ish.
Okay. No,
You know what I
no.
mean? Like
Do you
country,
want me
like country
to, do you want me to
western-ish.
go back on mute?
If you could, please, I'd
Yep.
appreciate that. I'm going
Yep.
to ask
Okay.
somebody else to speak up, raise their hands, anything like that. If this is I'm looking for a daddy's girl, somebody whose father's in spirit, somebody who would have and again, there's I'm smelling sawdust, which means, oh, hello.
Hi. It might be me.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to find you here on this Zoom thing. Who's speaking to me? We got a Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole.
Hi,
My
Nicole.
dad had an old blue truck. Gambling, maybe. I was a daddy's girl. He didn't tell me all the bad things that he did.
Okay, can I ask you? This might be for you. So You were a daddy's girl. Did he ever show you how to do things with his hands?
I learned how to do my own oil change and check my,
Okay.
fluids and,
Okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool. All right. May I ask you, do you have a brother?
yeah.
All right. So I think this is for you because this is an interesting thing. Now, I'm gonna bring
Mm.
this up to you. And again, I don't know you, Nicole, so I have to ask you these questions. You're gonna help me figure out who this is, and how this relates to you. Are you very unlike the rest of your family?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is for you. You're very unlike, I don't want to call you a black sheep, but you're separate or you're unlike the rest of your family. The reason I'm going to borrow some of my grandmother's French here, okay? And I should have warned everybody at the very beginning. We're going to have a little bit of a fun time here. Um, is your brother a shithead? Is your brother a shithead? And I hate to say it like that, but that's the word that I'm literally hearing. Okay. And interestingly enough, and I have to do, and I can't believe I have to say these things in public. Do you have, is that brother or a brother somebody who might bring people shame? Shame. Okay. So there's this energy of like actually like what he's saying to me is kind of pissed. Like he's kind of pissed in spirit at this brother. Okay. This is important for you to hear because I know that you not feeling like the rest of your family or feeling like you have a family, it might feel like you're like outside of the community or not being included or feeling like you're doing the wrong thing. But if you're keeping yourself safe from family members who are not healthy, that is very good for you. Okay. Why would he tell me as I'm talking to you, Nicole, why would he tell me that you're knocking it out of the park? Like knocking it out of the park. Do you feel like you're like got a good life, being successful, like doing good things?
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
I'm the only one in my family that's not addicted to drugs. I'm a safety specialist actually, and I work, for a company trying to, better people.
Yes. Okay. This is definitely for you then. This is definitely from him. So interestingly, it was I get the impression that he was the tough silent type. Didn't speak his words, didn't speak his like values, didn't speak what he it's interesting that he's saying to me that, and I know that you know this, and I'm gonna say it to you so everybody can hear it. There's a level of regret that he didn't speak to you how much he loved you. But what's interesting is that there is a very specific message on top of that. He's saying to me that he's sorry that he didn't tell the people that you both loved how much he loved them. So think of, the Venn diagram, who did you love? Who do you love? And who did he love? There's this sense of apology that I didn't tell the people that we love, you and him loved together, how much they meant. And now what he's saying to me is this: maybe if I had, things would have been different. Maybe if I had have spoke those things might have been a little different. So he really wants you to know that from where he's at, there's that sense of, I don't want to say regret, but maybe missed opportunity in terms of, I should have run my mouth more. I should have told people more how much they meant to me. There's something really interesting going on with you physically. Now, some of this stuff that they pass through is physical stuff. I want to ask you, he's really bringing my attention to your scalp. Okay. Now, when spirit does that, they do that for a few reasons. But this particular reason, you're shaking your head like this. He's bringing my attention to your scalp. So, can I ask you, do you have spots on your body that go cold or numb?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. This is a nerve thing. Okay. And remember, I'm not a medical provider, but I'm going to ask you to do a thing for me. And this often comes up for people who have like nerve stuff going on. He's You need one of those devices that look like a big egg whisk that go up and down somebody's head. Okay. The thing that gives you like goosebumps. So anything that would give you goosebumps, any music that you would listen to, any, physical activity, anything that would give you goosebumps is going to be really good to stimulate those nerve endings. Okay. And he also, hmm, he's now showing me you looking in the mirror and being incredibly hard on yourself. So we have to stare that right in the face. He's watching you. He's with you all the time, as he's with everybody in your family. but he's watching somebody who is succeeding in life. Maybe she doesn't realize it, or maybe she needs that reminder. But it's interesting because he's showing me you in the mirror very early in the morning, and he's like, you start to be difficult on yourself, you're a hard ass on yourself first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning. It starts first thing in the morning and then continues all the way throughout the day. Something that I want you to consider: if you're being a hard ass on yourself, if you're being too harsh to yourself and unfair to yourself, especially when you're so outside of the rest of your family, you got to consider how much you're actually beating up on your father's daughter. Okay? Beating up on your father's daughter. There's a couple of things also. He's If you are around people that make you want to chew glass, like grind your teeth, perhaps you need to get away from those people. Okay. There's a level of, and I don't know if this is personal or professional, but he says there's a level of insanity in your life in the way that you keep kind of going back and expecting things to be different. And he's like, if there are people in your life that are making you grind your teeth and you're frustrated with them, maybe you should show them what life looks like without you in it. Whoa, that's some big life advice. So, take that with a grain of salt. Do what you need to with that. But if there are people, no, he's really like, if you're frustrated and grinding your teeth, like growling at people, maybe you need to walk away from them. And I think that's something that everybody can relate to. If this is some deep stuff, Nicole. He's saying, if you know in your heart of hearts that things aren't going to change, maybe you need a change yourself. Okay. Stop going back and like getting the same result over and over and over again. All right. The other thing that he's talking about too, and I think part of do you clench your teeth? Can I ask, do you clench your teeth?
Yeah,
You do?
a lot. I have
Okay.
been all day today.
Okay. Well, can I ask you, how much caffeine do you drink?
Well, I work at a coffee company, so a lot.
Okay. So we want to be mindful of how much caffeine we intake, because I think you get up to about 200 milligrams of caffeine in your body, and it's like, now we're replicating all the signs of anxiety. So we got to be mindful of that. Okay.
But
He
it's
really
just so
wants to
good.
say it again.
I said, but it's just so good.
I get it. I get it. Whoa. Part of me wants to say, are you sure you're the only person in your family that's not a drug addict?
Yeah, no,
No. I get it. I'm playing with you. I'm
yeah,
playing with you. I'm playing with you. Caffeine is
yeah.
I'm a big caffeine person
I'm
myself.
addicted to it for sure.
Yes. Okay. So I think the clenching of your jaw is going down into your shoulders because he really wants like your shoulder up like a massage. Like there's some like hard rock, steel rods in your shoulders. Like he needs, you need to go see somebody specific that knows how to work with injuries. Do you have an injury in your shoulders that needs to be addressed? Neck, shoulders, area?
I'm not really sure. I'm just stressed a lot. Um, my brother really gives me a lot of anxiety, so my family has me. I don't know. I'm stressed. I hold it in my shoulders. I hold it in my neck.
Okay. So when I was talking to you about grinding your teeth and going back again and again and again to the person that does the same thing, it felt like a male. I didn't want to talk about like boyfriend or husband, brother, or somebody, but it felt like some male was causing that frustration and stress. And maybe you need to show them what life looks like without you there. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
was your dad known for booze cruises?
Um, I don't know. Probably.
All right. Well, you know what a booze cruise is, right? Like drinking beer out on the road or something. That's a real country thing.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, totally. We had a beer in the truck all the time, and the blue Chevy, actually.
Okay, in the blue Chevy. All right. So here's an interesting thing that he's talking about. Like, you need to go on the drive without the beer, right?
Uh,
Like, he's
yeah.
telling you that to clear your mind, to actually, to calm your breathing down, because it almost feels like that anxiety is so heavy in you that it's all hyperventilating, that for just to go on a drive, okay, to go on a drive, okay.
Yep.
Um, Interesting. You've got to, like, this is country stuff. You got to be somewhere where there's dirt roads. Okay. And then what he's showing me is he's showing me like driving by a mill, like an old mill or an old, I don't know, it's like on a back road, maybe a wagon wheel or something like that, a water wheel, something to that effect. Do you have anything like that in your local area that you can just drive around?
Yeah, in Fairfax, actually. I drive by the wheel sometimes and there's a waterfall there and it's calming, it's relaxing.
Okay. So when he's saying that when you reach the 9 out of 10 on that like 1 out of 10 scale, like 9 out of 10, when you're like ready to pop, get in the car and just go for a drive. Okay, go for a drive. Now, what's fascinating to me is Kool-Aid must have been a thing as a kid for you. Remember
Yep,
Kool-Aid?
I do.
Okay. Okay. Well, he's take a Kool-Aid. Like, take a Kool-Aid with you. Make up some Kool-Aid or just something where you can just sip it and drink it. Kool-Aid definitely isn't caffeinated. So you got to take
Uh,
that into consideration. Something to sip on, okay?
or
He wants to
alcohol.
reiterate, yeah, no alcohol. We're not gonna condone that here, okay?
No, no, no.
Uh, yeah, no, 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 no. He wants to reiterate to you how much you're knocking it out of the park. He's also saying to me they're not getting that, and it's a message from the people that love you. So, probably just too concerned with their own lives to give you the feedback you need. Really wants to just reiterate, you're knocking it out of the park, kid. There's that positive affirmation. There's that positive affirmation. So he's talking about, have you seen him in your dreams?
I have.
You have. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that you're through with seeing him in your dreams because he's saying I'll see you in your dreams. Like I'll see you in the future in your dreams. And that's something that everybody has to know, that when we have dreams and feel like we're being visited by the people that we love, we absolutely are. We absolutely are. Also, you don't like tension. I'm not sure that this there's a sense of hesitancy coming to this to kind of be dragged this, giving me this appreciation to you of like, thank you for getting your butt here. Thank you for getting your butt here.
I mean, my friend Erin, she's on here as well. Her and I actually were talking earlier and she was like, you should just go on the spirit thing that I have later. Just get on there at 6:50. And I was like, you know what, I might. But I'm out tonight with a friend and I didn't expect today or tonight to go as it did. And I'm shocked that I'm on here right now, and I'm shocked that my dad is the first one.
And what's fascinating is that, this is Friday. He's been with me since Wednesday. He's been with me since Wednesday, which kind of, as just a regular old human being, blew my mind that there this much intelligence and spirit and this level of coordination that you didn't realize that you were going to be here. But for some reason, Spirit knew 2 days ago that you were going to be.
On Wednesday, I really started losing my shit. And I started arguing with people at work. And today I was pulled into HR, and it it's been a lot the last 3 days.
I, I think that it would be, especially just because you have a certain level of anxiety, whether that's just natural anxiety or too much caffeine, who knows? Wherever it comes from, I think it would benefit from, and this is just a message I'm getting, something to consider. Have you heard box breathing or the fourfold breath?
I
Okay.
think about it a lot, but I don't. I know
Okay.
I should be doing something with my anxiety. I
Well,
drink.
let me illustrate something to you, because I know that, when you walk away from this and people walk away from me as a medium, their spirits go with them. They're not with me, they're with you. And they speak to us all the time, are in fact a big source of our intuition. Can't say that they're all intuition, but they are a big source of our intuition. And what happens, and everybody should know this, everybody's spirits will speak to them through the faculties of feeling and emotion. And then it takes about a half a second before our rational mind kicks in and translates what we receive in our own voice. So you say, I think about it a lot. Perhaps you're not thinking about it. Perhaps you're receiving it. That's something to consider, perhaps receiving it. So full breath, or the box breathing method, for anybody that's not familiar, you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. What that does is that calms your central nervous system down. If anybody has a stressful job, you can do that breathing technique. If you can knock out 4 or even 10 of those in a row, you will literally calm your physical body down. Something to consider. Okay. Now, also, Cole, and I could spend a lot of time with you, and I'm going to move on. Make sure that whenever you have like some opportunities for breaks at work, go for a little walk around the block, walk around the building. Okay. What he's saying is don't get caught in like the hand clutch. Like, don't get caught in the people that are just like complaining and, bitching, and they kind of like, they compound it for one another. There's that energy of like maybe some time by yourself walking around the building or the block would be rather useful for you. Okay. Uh, in fact, I think this is a big thing because he's saying to me, don't get dragged into the mud. There's got to be people around you that you're working with that have some negative attitudes. Misery loves company. Those things can be quite contagious, and they're dragging you down into the mud. So you want to be mindful of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the first thing that I said to you, or one of the first things that I said to you, you're different than the rest of your family. You're kind of different than the rest of humanity, and that's a good thing. That's why don't get caught up in like the hand clutch. Don't get caught up in being dragged into the mud. Okay. So you're not going to that part, kid. Keep your chin up. Do your breathing exercises. Maybe do some half calf every once in a while. And remember that your dad loves you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So I'm going to take you off spot because I want to introduce the woman that is here with me, and she's been here with me as well. She's not really given a lot about her, but we're going to talk about her a little bit. So I want to talk to people about a potential teacher. Okay. I want to talk to people about a potential teacher, somebody who might have been a teacher. And here's an interesting thing with her. She was either religious or kind of like uppity. And I don't want to like equate religion with uppityness, but this is somebody who was, okay, I want to just explain to you who she is. She feels like either she was a teacher or an instructor or somebody. And then it was like she got to a certain point of her life, and I think she might have done something different. And then I don't know if she became a cake maker. Like, this is like a really specific thing. Somebody who either made cakes professionally or made like the person that's here for her, she wants you to continue to make her cakes. I'm seeing the frosting on the cake. This is somebody who would have felt like would have had maybe 2 lives, did something for a certain amount of time, either like an instructor or somebody that was very like, do it this way or do it that way. And then on top of that, somebody who would have a certain set of morals or values that the person here on this call would not necessarily hold on to. Like, let's say that this woman was a devout Christian, but you're not. She just wants to illustrate to you that you're living up to those standards, even though you might not be walking her path. So I want to ask anybody here got a mom, anybody here got a grandmother that kind of fits that profile? Euler.
Hey Josh,
Euler.
not sure.
Yes.
I don't want to pull at strings, but my grandmother probably would think she herself was a teacher, although she never was, but she was one of those grandmothers that just she told everybody what she thought and how to do everything around her. The whole thing about the cakes, my mom is a professional cake maker, and she learned a lot of those old school recipes from her mom when she was young. and I have learned
Okay,
them
this
from
is
my mom. So it's kind of pulling in again.
no, Joe, this is for you. Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you, but like you popped up on my screen and I'm seeing you and I'm kind of getting like a cheering, like a yay, like a yay. Okay, so I'm gonna put you on spotlight here. So thank you for this. We're gonna talk a little bit about this. So you're on spotlight. I'm putting me on spotlight so everybody can see us have this conversation. Okay. So Jill, I want to talk to you about the standards. Was she uppity or religious?
She wasn't religious, but definitely uppity, very like hoity-toity. Um, like she had these old school morals that were like, she used to give my mom so much crap when I was a kid because my mom let me wear pants, but I was a girl. Like she was very, very old school grandmother. Yeah, always had to have everything like pristine, clean. The littlest speck of dust on anything in the house was like your trash. That was kind of her viewpoint, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely not a religious woman ever. I don't think that was ever something. She never went to church.
Well, remember what I'm doing is I'm translating the impressions and the feelings. So there's this level of like, I'm looking down my nose at
Oh,
people, like I'm a
I
little
I mean,
uppity. Okay.
holier than thou. Without that's
Yes.
her
Yes. That's
personality
a
to
really
a
great way to
T.
put it.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, what's fascinating to me is that, that would relay a certain level of, like you said, values.
Mm,
Okay. But you're not walking through life in that way.
mm.
Okay.
I'm
You're just not.
actively trying not to. I think that's kind of
Yes.
that's
And
kind of what pinged me. I was like, I think that this might be for me because it's like an active yeah, it's an active thing I have to do every day to try not to be on that path of my grandmother, but also my mother, because it's it's followed very much
yeah.
that
Okay.
way. Yeah.
Okay. I want to also ask you something. I can't tell from here because you're so small on my screen. You're not wearing a nose ring or anything?
I am.
You are? Okay, so that's what she does not like about your nose. Like she's talking like and like I didn't know if it was like a nose ring or maybe like you had dry nasal passages or something to that effect. There's something about your nose that she's not liking, not because she's judging it, but because it might irritate you or bother you. Okay. So there's that. Um, okay. This is really important. I know that you're trying not to be like your mom and your grandma in this way. Okay. One, I want to pass along the cake thing. She's inviting you to make some of these cakes, like your mom's professional cake maker. Okay. I get that and I love that. But there's this idea of, get your hands dirty, get your hands in the dough, get your hands in, the stuff and do that. Distract yourself from your everyday concerns. The other thing is interesting. I want you to go back in time to when you were 17 for me. Okay. So let's talk about 17. I know, right? Junior year, senior year of high school. Did you have a bestie or a best friend back then?
Hmm.
Okay. You must not stay in contact with her.
No.
Okay. Why? And here, remember, please take this with a grain of salt, but here's something that your grandmother needs you to know. She's also indicating to me that your best friend is like a wild child, like a wild child.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason being, um, and remember that spirit uses symbols for me. So I'm seeing a little like purple dye in the hair, which kind of talks to me of like, that's my symbol for the wild child, like the
Mm.
troublemaker, a little like, tattoos, hair dye, what have you. I don't want to lend you any sort of undue obligation or pressure, but your grandmother is saying that you might want to get back in contact with her because she needs you. That's a big, heavy message.
Yeah, that's yeah, given the facts of the situation, we had a falling out because I'm very family oriented. I have two kids and I'm married, and she's just very much not that at all. And she has an addiction problem, and it was just yeah, I made the decision to kind of remove that from my life because I couldn't. I tried so hard and I was putting her above myself and my family too much. And so I just had to like really, it was very civil at the time. But yeah, we haven't spoken in like 2 years. So
Okay, I need you to consider something, please. That message does not come through in any way that would ask you to exert too much of yourself, give too
Mm,
much of yourself. That's not what that's about. That's not to, sacrifice your well-being, compromise your well-being or your family's well-being. That is, I don't know if your grandmother knew her, but there is like a level of love here. Like there's a level of love, like that person needs you. She's just saying that that person needs you. And again, that's like, that's hard for me to deliver to you because that's very emotional, it's very heartfelt, and it's a little sad. It's
yeah.
a little sad that that person needs you. Now, that person needs you, yes. Can I ask you, when you were with her though, and things were healthy and she was good and healthy, belly laughs, like laugh so hard it hurt, tears rolling down your face, laugh so hard. Okay.
Yep.
I know that you were talking about not becoming like your mom and your grandma, but this message of trying to reconnect with your friend is a message that is all about not becoming, jaded and bitter and, like too stuffy as an adult.
Hmm.
To remember to have some sort of childlike fun. I'm a big
Mhm.
believer in what I call vitamin joy. Try to
Right.
talk about it every day. We got to go get our vitamin joy. We got to go get that joy.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to kind of have, be a little sneaky for me, okay? And kind of peek in on her, maybe talk to somebody that knows her. And if she's in a healthy place,
So, and that's where I'm kind of stuck with this. So I'm really good friends with her sister. Her sister and I have become really, really close because we're both like that's kind of like we're both family oriented. And so I kind of, I never really pry, but um her sister often offers me like an update on just how things are going, and it's been pretty bad recently. So I've known and I kind of keep my eyes on it. I just haven't taken the plunge to actually speaking up and checking in personally.
I'm going to ask you to do something that might be tough for you, but this would be an incredible exercise in grace. Okay. And I think that everybody needs to have a lesson in grace every once in a while. I don't know if this is connected to your childhood. I want to remember this is, take it all with a grain of salt. Nothing is in order. This is only a strong suggestion. I'd like you to find a Christmas card that either has Snoopy or Garfield on it. I'm seeing either Snoopy or Garfield, like an old cartoon character, and like that old classic cartoon character, and perhaps send her a Christmas card. Just like all my love to you, hope you're well. Because I think a lot of people that have addiction issues, and it's interesting that we go from Nicole, whose family has addiction issues, to you and this best friend that we're talking about. There was a message at the very beginning of this that I forgot to bring up because all of this is about keeping peace, even when it's hard decisions. You know, like Nicole would have to isolate herself from her family to maintain her peace. You need to isolate yourself from your best friend to maintain your peace. When we do that, when we kind of, I don't want to say reject people, but maybe isolate ourselves from them, this is so sticky of a topic that sometimes those rejections or those abandonments can become the narratives within us that can make those problems worse. If I feel like I'm judged or if I feel like people are abandoning me, why would I even want to get better? It becomes all of those, negative feedback loops that happen in people that have those sicknesses and those illnesses. So maybe a Christmas card. They're bringing me back to they're bringing me back to the classic cartoon character. Did you guys have a cartoon character that you loved as a kid, like
No, I
Snoopy or
mean,
Garfield or something like that?
no, I think we were more like trash cartoons like Ren and Stimpy and like Ed, Ed and Eddie and like angry. Like,
Okay.
I don't know. That was more of our thing, like SpongeBob. You know what I mean? Like those kinds of
Okay, so
things.
Jill,
Um,
what what's happening here is I'm dating myself. I'm 45. You're not
sorry,
45.
Josh.
Okay. So what this is being like, I keep seeing the cartoon. I wasn't an and Stimpy watcher. I certainly didn't watch SpongeBob. Like if SpongeBob's on, I'm in the room. Okay. So with that being said, take the cartoons that you guys would have found, joy in together, find a Christmas card, and just send her a message of love. And all I can say is it's not going to hurt. It keeps you safe, right? It doesn't necessarily open up those doors, but it does send her that message that maybe people aren't judging her as harshly as she might have thought.
Yeah.
So, and who knows? I'm a big believer in miracles. It might actually be one of those things that's like, I'm going to clean up my act. New Year's resolution, all of that. And if it was a Christmas card from an old friend, that was the impetus or the catalyst to that health and well being. I mean, come on, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
Or it's just not going to hurt, you know?
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
The other thing that I want to ask you too, uh, wow, this feels like a spirit of hers. Did you know, is her dad passed?
Yeah.
Okay. Is he like a big, really laughy guy?
I never knew him.
Never knew him.
Yeah, he died before her and I, we became friends in like third grade, but he had died when she was really young. And I don't think he was like a big burly guy, to be honest, from what I've
Okay.
heard of him.
This feels like somebody of hers coming in. No, the only way that would ever happen, what?
Her mom, her mom was like a very like a not I wouldn't say burly, but her mom was just a big woman and very like very loud, very rambunctious at
I mean, she
times.
could be coming through as a man to me, but I don't think so. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
What I get is like suspenders, and I get like somebody snapping them. Like it's just big, like a big guy, like a big laugh guy. So it could be her
Gotcha.
father, could be somebody, but that feels like somebody that's coming in. And the only way that somebody could come in from her side of things is that if there was love between the two of you. And this is something very fundamental in your developmental years and your childhood. So again, here's your Graham, but here's somebody of their family coming into this conversation, encouraging you to maybe. I just heard olive branch. Again, you got to do you, Jill. You got to do you. Got to keep yourself safe, keep your family safe, healthy, and balanced, and all of that. But I think that your kind words in an act of grace might have more of an impact than you realize. Also, weirdly, ouch, this is funny. You guys must have watched movies together. You must have done microwave popcorn. Must have, because I'm seeing a pack of microwave popcorn, almost like sending this person like a bag of microwave popcorn that's not popped.
I
You
mean,
guys
yeah,
do popcorn movies?
snacks of any kind, but yeah, we're big, yeah, watching movies together.
Okay. Here's something that I want you to consider. Should this person become a healthy version of herself again, and I am very much a believer that people can do that and find the best versions of themselves over again. If she's able to do that, please consider bringing her back into your life in a healthy, balanced way. Okay.
Yeah,
Interestingly, Graham is now back in talking about those values, like that value that I just spoke of, that grace and that compassion. This is really interesting. She's like, she's talking about taking the higher road, taking the higher road. So there is something, this is a journey that you're on, and I'm just going to send you love as you're on it. 'Cause it's very difficult. We've had two people here who are struggling with addiction in their world. That's such a hard thing to cope with. So keep yourself safe and keep yourself in grace too, because I think that your words may have a deeper impact. Okay. All right. Thank you for being here. And again, nope, 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 nope. Make some cakes, please. Get with your mom, make some cakes, learn those recipes. There's reason being,
Oh,
Jill,
I know
there's
them.
something.
I know them well. I mean, I do. I have. I just I only make them for my nieces and nephews' birthdays because I just hate doing it so much.
Okay, so the interesting thing is I think, and this is an opportunity to talk about what I consider kitchen witchery. If she keeps pushing me and like saying, make the cakes, there's something that you can do as you're cooking and baking of imbuing energy into food. People must like eat what you make, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so cooking, baking with intention, it's food reiki, putting energy into food so people can eat that energy. And, like that idea, mom's cooking's the best, Graham's cooking's the best. I'm not sure if it was. I'm pretty sure you're tasting the love that she poured into. Please make the person that you're with banana bread.
Okay.
Like husband, boyfriend, whoever in your life in that way. I don't know if he likes banana bread or perhaps he's suffering from cramps in his calves, like bananas, potassium, all of that. Talk to me about
Okay.
that. What's that about?
He has cramps in his legs all the time because he lifts weights. He's like a heavy lifter and does like strongman competitions. So he's always complaining about the like spasms that he gets in his legs.
So you're going to want to get, some potassium and magnesium into that person. So
Yeah.
if banana bread works, make that man some banana bread. All right. Jill, thank you for this. And I don't know
Thanks,
why I'm
Josh.
supposed to say this. I don't know if your birthday's here, but I'm supposed to say happy birthday too. Like, is your birthday? Are we around your birthday?
Nope.
Okay. Is there anybody in your family who's having a birthday right now?
Not that I know of. We have a lot of December birthdays, but oddly, none today. We just had like 3 in the last couple of days, but
Just that happy birthday energy. Okay. So if that's her family, that's what she's passing through. Much love. Thank you for being a person of integrity and holding your head up high. Again, remember those values are there, even though you might not be an uppity snob. Much love to you.
thanks.
Okay. All right. So gonna bring in the next one because he's been with me. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is a fun thing. Okay. I am going to ask people. I'm looking for a brother. I have a brother here with me. I'm looking for somebody. I'm looking for a sister. Here's a funny thing. Um, I don't think a lot of people would know this. This is going to be somebody who's been alive in the past 20 years ish. The brother is talking to me about Donkey Kong. Like I'm hearing like Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong. So this is somebody whose brother and sister would have played like Donkey Kong Jungle or something like that together. There's like I played that way back in the day. There's like drums in it, like the drums in the video game. I'm hearing the drums. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong were the 2 players in this video game. There's a brother here looking for a sister. So I'm looking for a sister that's here that's lost her brother who used to
Hi,
play video games
Josh.
with her.
It's me, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron. Did you play Donkey Kong Country with your brother?
Sure did. I sure did.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes,
I'm
I
going to put you on
did.
spotlight so everybody can see you. Here's an intro. That's
Okay.
a fascinating thing. Okay. So, um, all right. So this guy completely a troublemaker, like a joker.
Very much so. Very much
Okay.
so.
Interesting thing is like what he's just said to me is like if I was in your life, like my life, if he was like my kid or my brother, he's like you wouldn't be resting. He's like he would always be playing pranks on me. He's like you would like that like jump around the corner and scare you. He's like you would not be resting. He's
Uh-huh.
like I would mess with you so much, and he's talking to me.
All the time.
So I'm having
Of
this
course.
conversation. This
He would do it with anyone.
wait. You're right. So he would do it with anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is there's a delight in the resurgence of your soul. Those are very specific words that I'm hearing. So there is something about you being in a better place.
Those are very specific
Is there a
words. Took
reason?
me a second to hear them. Yes. That makes a lot of sense to me, a lot.
Is there a reason for you to celebrate?
Uh, Not in my physical life, actually. My actual life is kind of upside down, but I am trying my best to not be the person that I used to be. I've really changed I'm trying to anyway, trying to change my sort of attitude about things like that happening. And um, yeah, I'm trying really hard to kind of connect to spirit and um,
So I love that
have a
because those
different
words
view on
are
life.
very specific. Delighted about the resurgence of your soul. I mean, come on, those are beautiful words,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Delighted about the
And I wouldn't
resurgence of
expect
your
to hear
soul.
them from him at all.
Well, they're
That's
kind of
like
my words, but I'm
yeah.
interpreting
Yeah,
them.
no,
There's that
I
delight.
hear you. Yeah. Yeah. But he and I were not the type to we were really, really close, but he wouldn't have said that necessarily to me. You know what I mean? He's not necessarily somebody that would have told me that in our lifetime. So it's really
And
validating to hear.
ooey, ooey gooey. Okay.
Right,
Interesting.
right.
He's bringing me back to Easter traditions. Okay. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So he's bringing me back to Easter traditions. I want to talk to you about
I'm
why he would
coming.
say, pick up where I left off. Did he do anything around Easter and need you to do the thing that he didn't like? He's
Hmm.
not here to do it, but he needs you to do it.
I can't think of anything in particular other than that he definitely had a certain spirit that he brought to our family that might be lacking, like a jokester sort of a vibe. Like I'm not sure. I can't think of anything in particular, but we get
So
together a
are
lot
there
for
little kids in the
holidays in
family?
general.
I'm
Oh,
sorry. Are
yes,
there
a
little
lot.
kids? Are little kids in the family?
Yes.
Okay. I'm seeing an Easter egg hunt. Okay. I'm seeing a
Okay.
folded up. Wait. I'm seeing a folded up $5 bill and a plastic Easter egg. Okay. Like those sorts of
Okay.
things. So I want you to think about
Yep.
if he was here with those little kids, what kind of Easter egg hunt that he might do, scavenger hunt, something like that. I also want to ask too, is there like a mechanic shop or a garage in the family? We gotta get a
Nope.
garage, like a place where there's cars that go in.
No, no. My older brother is a roofer.
Does he have a shop or anything?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Not with cars necessarily, but I don't think
Well,
I have.
bear with me on the message. So, did your brother
Yeah,
have the kids?
he did not have kids, but he was very close with our niece and nephews.
It's interesting because there's like I'm seeing a shop, I'm seeing like a mechanic wrench, like a twisty mechanic wrench. It's like
Okay.
put the jokes in there. Like put the like Easter eggs or the jokes in there. So if this guy's a prankster and he's a jokester, I think one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that he's trying to get you to do, he's like showing me a shop, like a mechanic shop or something like that. I want you to consider like, safely, like perhaps prank your older brother. You know what I mean?
Okay. Uh-huh.
Like just something silly, like, that he would
Yeah.
not expect or something like that. He might
Okay.
actually need it. But
Yeah.
there's a level of joy, I think, that he's going to ask you to bring. Okay. Now, what's interesting to me is Donkey Kong Country, like that's so specific. Like boom, 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 the
Yeah.
drums in that game.
I can
Okay.
hear it. Yeah.
Right. Were you better at it than him?
Um, I would have said so, but he would never have admitted that. We were very competitive about it.
Well, no, because he's like calling you a little shit. like
Yeah.
in the way that you were better at it than him. Or maybe you messed
He
him
was
up because
better
I know
at
that
video games a lot of times, and so yeah, that makes sense that it would make him mad that when I beat him at it. Or messing with him,
may I
sure.
also
Screwing him up.
may I also ask you,
Hmm.
is there sciatica or hip problems, pinched nerves in you?
Yes, sure is. I'm a house cleaner, so I'm on my feet a lot, but I've had a really bad pain in my hip for like 10 years now from like a nerve type of a thing. Goes down to my foot.
He's asking you to consider acupuncture,
Okay. Hate
maybe
that. But
acupressure.
okay, I can handle that better than needles. That would not be my
Okay,
jam, but
so are you familiar with the difference between acupuncture and
yeah.
acupressure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have at home what it's called a Shakti mat. It's like a little like
Okay.
yoga mat with like it's got little white plastic discs that have
Yeah, I've
pointies
seen
on it,
those.
right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I swear by it. When I have an
Really?
issue with like back or neck or anything like that, it
Mm-hmm.
is a miracle worker. So
Okay. I'll give
acupuncture,
that a whirl.
acupressure, but he's actually asking you, hold on, I think acupuncture might be better for it. You might want to just consider it. I
Yeah, I will.
know if you're
I will
having needles
consider
issues,
it.
also, wouldn't it
Yeah.
be wouldn't it be totally your brother to come through this message because one, you need it, two, he knows it's gonna
Yeah.
mess with you,
Oh,
right?
for sure. I was gonna say I
Okay.
would cringe at the thought of even someone else doing acupuncture. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
May I ask you, do you know this is a really specific message? Do you know if your mom likes apple butter?
You probably would. She probably would.
Well, it's either apple butter or apple sauce. Okay.
Okay.
The reason being, I'm seeing something homemade in like a little tiny mason jar, like with the little
Yeah.
ribbon around the top of it. I'm seeing something
Mm-hmm.
homemade, little mason jar.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And I think this is really emotional, and I've got to say it. He
Mm-hmm.
wants you to give your mother a present from him. And it's
Okay.
something like and it's not necessarily you making it. This is not you making the
Yeah.
applesauce or the apple butter. This is you just going out and getting a jar of it, putting it under the Christmas tree, and making sure that she knows. I mean, you could share this experience with her, that message came through. I mean, this is going to go on YouTube. You can share it with her
Yeah.
after
She's
Christmas.
been to one of these before, so she would definitely find that really special. Yeah.
Okay, so how fascinating is that he wants you to act in his stead?
That
Okay.
makes sense. That sounds like him for sure. Sounds like him.
Okay. Who has the house with the black shingle, like the black asphalt tiles?
I think that might be my brother. I think that might be my
Okay.
older brother.
Well, didn't you just say he was a roofer?
He is a roofer, yeah.
Yeah, no, 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 no. So like what your
Not him?
brother's this isn't about your brother. This is about
Okay.
somebody whose roof is leaking. So somebody
Okay.
has like water coming in their house somewhere. Somebody that your brother loves. He's showing me like
Mm-hmm.
roof problems, roof problems. Do you know of anybody that needs new roof?
Could be my parents. Could be my parents. Potentially. I'm not
Okay.
sure. I know my sister had a lot of flood problems in the past few years. Not from her roof, though, from rivers flooding up to her back door.
I need you to do a little like reconnaissance mission. I need you to do some fact
Yeah, I can
finding.
do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask you your parents' house. Okay. Because when
Mm-hmm.
I was getting that, like the asphalt shingle, the roofs, stuff,
Mm-hmm.
felt father. So this
Okay.
might be your parents' house. Okay. I felt the
Yeah.
father. I want
Yeah.
to ask you to think of the back side of the house because this feels like the back side. Is there like the main building and then like a little tiny porch or something off the back, like a little
Yep.
piece?
And my dad hangs out back there a lot.
Okay, so you're gonna have to go to your dad, and it's about the little piece. It's about the little porch. Okay,
Okay.
he's like, I'm getting the ding, ding, ding. We've got a winner. It's there. So
Okay.
your brother is seeing from the world of spirit how there is like a
Yep.
potential ice issue, water issue. He's showing
Okay.
me gutters now. You know, there's
Yep.
something about water in the back there. Now
Okay.
that gives
I'll
me
look
an
into that. Yeah.
opportunity. That gives me an opportunity to tell everybody here that's how spirit does this through me, anyways, consistently over and over. They'll go mental and emotional problems, they'll talk about
Mm-hmm.
physical problems, then they'll talk about home stuff. It is in that
Yep.
order every single time as it
Huh.
comes through me. So it's heart, heart, health, and
Mm-hmm.
home. It's always
Yeah.
heart, health, and home. Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting. I don't know who this is. This might be your dad. Um, Andy's mints. Does your dad like mints or like chocolate mints? I'm seeing like the square box of like Andy's mints.
He likes like those little wintergreen mints. He's obsessed with those for sure. But chocolate mints, I'm sure he'd also like. those Andes mints.
Yes. So, okay. I think that your family might be at this point to be able to receive gifts from him, but that apple butter
Yeah.
or the apple sauce for your
Mm-hmm.
mom, and then a
Okay.
box of Andes mints for your dad.
Okay. I can handle that. That's easy enough. He was very into giving gifts for Christmas. So and well, for any holiday really, but for Christmas specifically. So I think that will
Okay.
mean a lot to them.
There's got to be a little boy in the family. Got to be a little boy in the family. Is there a little boy in the
Yeah,
family?
there is, yes.
I'm seeing matchboxes, like the little matchbox cars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Uh this is gonna be like a little boy's boy, like somebody who likes the cars and
Yep.
all of that stuff. Um I'm hearing from uncle. So this has got to be his nephew. Give from
Yep.
uncle. Okay.
Okay.
What's fascinating to me is I'm seeing the plastic tracks, like the old break, like
Mm-hmm.
you get the old like play sets where like you put the
We
matchboxes
play
on
with
and they go
them
on.
at my parents' house. Yeah, they have his old
You
set
do.
there that he plays with. Yeah, he does play. He plays with them whenever we go there.
I love that.
Yeah,
So this is that opportunity to include your brother in Christmas. That's so beautiful.
I would love to. I think I'm finally at a point where I can do that without so much emotion after all these years. I
Next, was
feel
this
like a
Super
different person.
was this Super Nintendo?
Yep, yep, or a Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64 or Sega.
Okay.
We played a lot of Sega.
I'm gonna ask you to find these old games and play them.
Okay.
They have these old like the new systems where they have all the old games that you can play. I've got a Nintendo Switch at home. I'm a Mario Kart
Mm-hmm.
guy, so I
Yeah, I
think that you
think
can
we
get on
have it.
there.
I think we do. Yeah, I still have his
Okay.
PlayStation too. It doesn't have any Donkey Kong or anything, but I still have his PlayStation in the closet. I could dig it out and play some Wheel of
I
Fortune
love
or
it.
something.
Yeah, anything like that. What's fascinating is he's indicating to me that you should be doing that while other people in your house are doing the same thing. So are there
Yeah.
other gamers in your house?
Yeah, my cousins and I would all at my grandparents, we would take turns, can't all play at the same time. There's too many of us. We would fight over who's gonna play and, you know, play a lot of Mario Kart and Donkey Kong. And he was usually Donkey Kong when we played Mario Kart, and I would be Yoshi.
Let me clarify that message for you, Aaron. We're talking
Yeah.
about is in your house now, where you live, the people that you
Hmm.
live with.
Oh, I see. Yes, yes.
If
We are all,
people are
yep,
gaming,
yep.
if they're on the computer or doing something,
Hmm.
and
My
you're
boys
left to your own
each.
devices, go
Hmm.
play your own video game.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Can do that.
Interesting that I just heard the thing from The Shining. If you've ever seen The Shining, but like
Yeah.
all work and no play make Jack a dull boy.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's a message for the ages. That's a message for everybody, especially as
Yeah.
going into a long, dark winter. We
Yeah.
need to find our vitamin joy. We check out, and I define joy as the thing that you participate that gives you the opportunity to check out from your stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't do that very often. So, yeah.
So other people in your
Should.
house are doing it, you need to go do it as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we don't want to grow up to be
Yeah.
jaded and bitter because we work too
I
hard.
know.
We got to play it.
That's true. I can see it happening, but he's not gonna let it. I know that.
Go get your play in. That's right. Go get your play in.
Awesome.
Finally, too, if you need to give yourself a gift, this is okay. So here he is being a jokester again because you already mentioned that you don't like needles, which is funny that he would tell you to go get a tattoo.
Okay. I've been wanting to though. I have one tattoo and it is in memory of him. So
Oh, okay. So you have an issue with needles, but you want
I would
another
like
tattoo. I love
I
that.
would like I would do that.
Okay, so that's his message. And I'm hearing treat yourself, like Merry Christmas, treat yourself. Make sure that
Okay.
you're giving something to yourself. If you're holding up the world and working hard and you beat your body up and you got hip problems, you got people that you're taking care of. If you're taking care of a household, make sure you're sustaining the person that's doing that.
Yeah, I need to. I definitely need to.
So that, my friends, that's our episode. I'm going to try to keep these to an hour long. I've been visited by 3 wonderful spirits, a father, a grandmother, and a brother. And they all have these messages of love, taking care of ourselves. And this is something that I want to make sure everybody understands. I started this by talking about that one-way mirror, the one-way mirror. Okay, so that is absolutely a thing. And if you bring that analogy to the next level, you are your spirit's movie. They are watching you. And I have a grandmother in spirit that watches me, and I have the option every single day to give her a sour melodrama or a wild, colorful sitcom. And I'm going to do my damnedest to give my grandmother a wild, colorful sitcom. I want to encourage everybody here to live this life with love and laughter, for we don't have it anymore. Because it's like everybody on the other side of that one mirror, one day we're going to join them. So while we're here, let's make the most of it. So, well, thank everybody
Absolutely.
for participating, and I hope everybody gets something out of the messages brought forth from everybody as well. If you've never sat with me on a one-on-one basis, you can go to my website. I offer these sessions right there via Zoom or in my studio here in Littleton, New Hampshire. I offer tarot readings and all sorts of stuff. My little sales plug, joshsimonds.com. I want to thank you for this. Episode number 3 is coming out, or will be recorded, December 22nd at 3 p.m. It's Sunday, December 22nd. That's the day after our Mistletoe Market that we're having here in Littleton, New Hampshire from 11 to 4 at the Littleton Opera House. Think witchy market. So a lot of stuff. It's all on the website. Thank you, Jill. I really appreciate you. Take care, everybody. Sleep well and pay attention to the streams. All right, much to everybody. We'll see you
Thank
next time.
you.
Bye.